Hello, everybody. It's been a long time. Lots has happened. We are still awaiting the new syllabus design. However, it's very, very clear that it's going to be all MCQs, right? So therefore, I thought that it's important that we clarify our concepts regarding the MCQs. So I'm going to be starting this MCQ series for classes 10 and 12. This particular one is for class 12, in which we will be taking up a single extracts from different chapters or poems and looking at the questions that one has created, justifying why they are at the level that they are pitched at. All right. So before I proceed with this, I think it's important to tell you all to subscribe. It's important because you become a part of the family of an already growing community. And then when we have sessions that can be collaborative over YouTube Live, I think everybody can sort of learn from each other. That is my main mission. How can we as teachers of English just get together, have our own space and talk about things without really the students or the youngsters sort of, for the want of a better word, invading our space, right? In order to get notifications from me, because I will be corresponding with you through the community feature. So I would request all of you to sort of click on the bell sign there. This will ensure that you sort of get the updates whenever a new video is uploaded or whenever I have put in a note for all of you. This is definitely going to help you receive it promptly. Yeah. Let's proceed. The syllabus document for class 12 prose says that it's important to create the MCQ with the competencies of comprehension and appreciation, right? So comprehension and appreciation. Now we are going to play across this spectrum today, and the questions that we create, we are going to justify how they fit in these two competencies that are required, right? Before we proceed, I'd like for you to have a look at the old and the new Bloom's taxonomy pyramid. It says comprehension. Now, where do you see comprehension? So you see comprehension here. By no means is this higher order thinking skills category. It is just a lower order thinking skills, lots. Okay. So for teachers who get very upset thinking that, oh, the questions are just going to be higher order, no, they won't be. They are created at this level only because it says so in the syllabus for the prose units. For poetry, yes, it is higher order, but for the prose units, it's just at this. However, it is very important to understand that comprehension, even though it is lower order, it is still higher than knowledge or remembering. So let's not mistake the comprehension, which is understanding. Don't mistake it with remembering or knowledge. Why? Because when you look at remembering is just identifying and recalling. That is not something we are teaching our kids. It is just this. It is just about locating some specific information from the lesson or from the extract. Okay, very basic functions. That is not what we are doing with our kids in an MCQ. All right, so therefore, this is out of the picture completely. Okay. However, now when we come to understanding or comprehension as in understanding, don't just think that it is about the understanding of the concept. No, it is interpreting, it is classifying, it is summarizing, it is exemplifying, and it is comparing. That's a lot of things. So therefore, understanding focuses on interpreting facts or the extract or the information that has been given, right? So these are the keywords that are usually used, but for you to understand that understanding is about interpretation, to be able to read between the lines. Something has been written. Can you interpret that or not? Let's go back and have a look at this again. Interpreting, classifying, summarizing, comparing, exemplifying. So the MCQ that you create for comprehension can touch any of these categories. So we ought not to complain that, oh, this is a difficult question. No, it's not a difficult question because it is a lots question. The paper setter is going to be careful that he or she meets the brief. It cannot be a level higher than this. Okay, so let's look at the questions now based on comprehension, right? So we are looking at Lost Spring, stories of stolen childhood. I did not take the first lesson. We'll come to that later because I'm sure everybody knows that like the back of their hand. So let's begin with Lost Spring. This is the extract that I'm taking. Now, I'm showcasing the examples via an extract. They could be standalone MCQs also. We'll do some of those later in another video upload, right? So Mukesh insists on being his own master. I will be a motor mechanic. So now this is the second part. We finished with Sahib Alam and now we move on to Mukesh. I will be a motor mechanic, he announces. Do you know anything about cars? I ask. I will learn to drive a car, he answers, looking straight into my eyes. His dream looms like a mirage amidst the dust of the streets that fill his town Firozabad. Famous for its bangles, every other family in Firozabad is engaged in making bangles, right? So we have this. Now let's proceed. Look at the first question. The first question here, okay? What does the underlined phrase refer to? Mukesh insists on being his own master. Now, look at the function of understanding or comprehension that I've taken. Change from one form of representation to the other. So this is one form. So now I'm asking you to interpret what is this form, and I've given you another form, and I'm asking you to choose. So the desire to carve a new destiny, the hope to master a new trade, the determination to own cars, the idea of bettering his father's skill. So being his own master. So what do you reckon? So the answer is A, okay? Being his own master. All right. So when you do something like this with children, you will have to make them understand why it cannot be B, C, or D. And I'm sure you're experts, you'd be able to do that. Let's look at another question. Select the option that classifies the tone of the speaker in the given sentence. Do you know anything about cars? I ask. So what is the tone of the speaker? Now you have to classify to which category does the tone belong. Right? So it could, is it condescending? Is it encouraging? Is it sarcastic? Is it inquiring? What is the tone? Do you know anything about the cars? I ask. So obviously it's inquiring. Please tell the kids why it isn't A, B, or C, right? Let's move on. Look at the third question. Mukesh's I think I've got it right. Mukesh got it wrong here. Mukesh looked into the author's eyes while answering her question. I think there's something wrong. Mukesh's looking into the author's eyes while answering her question reveals his dash. So Mukesh is looking into the author's eyes. What does it reveal? You know, he looked straight into her eyes. So what does it reveal? It reveals his pride, conviction, fairness, humility. So it's conviction that he believes in what he's saying. So it's not his pride. There is no question of any kind of fairness. And there is certainly no context given for any kind of humility. He just believes in himself. So it's conviction. Now this is exemplifying. We are still at comprehension. We are still at comprehension, okay? Presenting a specific example of a concept or a claim. So it's not higher order, it's definitely lower order, but it also depends on how you've transacted the lesson in the classroom. Have you asked all these questions? Have you done reflection strategies, etc.? That makes your life simpler, actually makes it easier for the child, right? Let's go on to the next one. Now, we're supposed to do 4 questions per extract for class 12. So now I thought that probably the 4th one could be appreciation. Now, what do we mean by appreciation here? Appreciation means making a critical judgment of the theme, of the style, the figurative or non-figurative language, or other elements of a literary work. In short, it simply means presenting an informed opinion based on facts or the extract. So these are the things. Can they present an opinion or make a critical judgment of the theme, style, figurative or non-figurative language, or other elements of literature? So appreciation, can they appreciate this? Can they sort of comment on this? Do they have that kind of understanding, right? So let's look at the question for this. So select the set of images compared by the author in the simile to bring out Mukesh's unrealistic hope. So it is assumed that they would know where the simile is. Okay, so if they understand the simile, so can they appreciate it? Do they understand what are the 2 concrete images that are brought out for comparison? So dream, bangles, dust, streets, dream, mirage, dust, eyes. So obviously it is dream and mirage, right? So it's not just about can you identify the simile or pick out a simile, you know, that is just about remembering. You've taught that to them in class and they are just sort of vomiting it out. So why would that be a good question? It's not. It will not be comprehension, would it? Right? So can they figure it out? Is there some bit of understanding or projecting their critical opinion about this particular phrase, right? So that's just about it from me. These are the 4 questions. I will be uploading class 10 soon, and the next set of class 12 MCQ series, which is going to be from a poem now that we've done a chapter. So don't forget to ring the bell. Keep it ringing, ting, ting. Just because you've clicked it, you are going to be privy to communication and uploads that are going to come from me, right? So thank you very much. That just about ends what we are going to be doing for today, right? So see you with the next upload and see you very soon. All right then, bye-bye.